Hello friends, welcome back to the bench. Thank you very much for joining me. Here we have an interesting board for repair. Now this is if I remember correctly, it's for network attached storage or some kind of network device. I think it was for NAS, which has an issue of CPU dropping on the socket. So the socket is damaged. But here's the issue with this board. Look how close everything is. You know, I always say that those little boards have much a higher success rate because they're smaller, right? So they don't warp as much. They're much thicker because more copper needs to be on a smaller board. But for AM5, that is perfectly fine because AM5 still gives you a lot of room around the socket. Now this one, as you can see, everything is super tight over here. The memory is maybe 2 fingers away from the socket, right? We have some electronics over here, like small cups, small components and stuff like that. So problem number 1 is you don't want to move those during the procedure of the socket replacement. Second, you know, the flux is going to be flowing everywhere over here. Well, maybe it kind of depends, right? If the board is a little tilted, once you drown the socket with flux, it'll start flowing where the gravity tells it to flow. And the final problem is the back of the board. As you can see, we have a metal bracket over here that usually is separate from the board, right? Usually you get this bracket with your cooler and the fan, right? The heat sink and the fan. And you get this, and it's usually either plastic or metal. In this case, it is metal, and it is glued to the board. Now, it is glued with if this is the same way they usually do it, it's just glued with the double-sided tape. So we have to remove it. Otherwise, if you put it on the preheater and you preheat the board, it'll drop and it'll hit your heater. So not the best. It happened to me once, but that was on the laptop. It was much smaller. This one is pretty hefty. So these are the issues. So first, let's take a look what the damage on the socket is, and maybe we can just straighten the pins, because I would prefer not replacing the socket on this one and rather do the surgery on it, if possible. Now the customer said that the CPU dropped on it, so that shouldn't be too bad. Let's grab a cover for the socket. Let me see if I can find some. Yeah, I got plenty for AM5s, not much for 1200, and I just realized I have one last 1200 socket in stock. So let's not break this one, because that would mean the customer would have to wait another 2 weeks for me to get new sockets. And I still need to get them anyways, because I'm low. Alright, let's cover it first and remove the brackets. Okay, we have the socket free. Let's get some focus and let's take a look. Okay, well, it was labeled as CPU drop, but I guess that was CPU drop plus someone tried to fix it. I can see one pin missing already. So let's confirm, and if that be the case, we have to replace the socket. Yeah, there she is. It's a broken pin, which means we're not going to be able to do the surgery on this one, which means we have to use the last 1200 socket I have in stock, and we have to order more. But the socket looks okay. Yeah, it is lead free. The FC, is it? No, this one is not even labeled, so this is neither FC, no. Well, it says FC on the cap, but it doesn't say FC on the socket. All right, so let's take a look at it again without the bracket. So here's the problem. So the heater is this big, so we're gonna be heating up these cups a lot. The outline is very good. It's going to be easy to outline the socket or to align the socket. Yeah, very nice outline, like perfect outline. doesn't get better than this. Even that little notch is nicely outlined, and that helps a lot. The same on AM5s. It's a square on AM5s, and it helps a lot too. We have some plastics and stuff, and since we're going to be removing and replacing the LED-free socket, I'm going to use the Foxconn profile. It actually, recently I tested it a little more, and it works better. I say if you have a LED-free solder on the socket, use the Foxconn profile, not the universal profile. It's only 10-degree difference, but that 10-degree makes a lot of difference. So we have plastic. So I mean at 215, this plastic is not going to melt. Not this plastic, but the plastic in there might. The memory the same. It shouldn't melt or even deform in any way at 215, but we're going to have to protect it. Now this plastic, those pegs, they will melt. So we need to remove this heatsink. Now the board was sent as a disassembled $50 service, but as you can see, it is assembled. But you know, it doesn't make much difference. It's literally like this tiny heatsink, this one, and this one over here. So it really makes very little difference. And removal of this one is not that hard, although these are a pain. Yeah, you need to use pliers for these. The board model is E3C256D4I-2T, version 102. Well, I guess we have no choice. We have to replace the socket. No way around it. So, I guess let's speed up the footage and let's get it done, huh? Alrighty, that went well. Looking good. Let's take a look at the socket. Here it is. It is perfectly aligned. Yeah, looking good. Alignment, cleanliness. Sierra mic is amazing for BGA work. as long as you, because it's easy to clean after I wick it with Ceramike, because Whiskey Tango is actually a little better for wicking, but the reason I use Whiskey Mike is, or the Ceramike, is because after the wicking, it's a lot easier to remove than Whiskey Tango. But that's pretty much the only thing that I use a Ceramike for, because it's great for this, but it's pretty much all that it's good for. For general soldering, I don't recommend it. It's more sticky. It's, yeah, sure, it cleans well, but it doesn't activate at low temperatures like Whiskey Tango does. So yeah, every flux is good for some purposes, for others it is not. There is actually a little bit of flux left over here, I think. I'm not sure, or it's still wet. Oh no, I don't see any flux on the Q-tip, so it must have been just a little wet still. So I'm not gonna reassemble it just yet, because you don't want to put the battery on the board when it's wet. I did that once. Luckily that wasn't a customer device, but I put the battery too early and I packed everything up. I mean, you know, I put the board away, and after a few days I opened the board and everything is corroded because the liquid that I use is a alkaline, so it will corrode if there's any left. So the board needs to be perfectly dry before you put the battery back in. But it looks perfectly fine. I'm happy with this result. The socket dropped at, I thought it dropped at 210 when I was working on it, but I just reviewed the footage just a minute ago, and it looks like it dropped at around 190, 195, something like that, or at least started dropping, because it took its sweet time to drop. But it is Foxconn, well actually it's the FC socket, but it looks like it's perfectly aligned and it's sitting very well. It wasn't too bad, but the board is really thick, extremely thick. So it took a while to heat it up. Now I would try to remove that bracket from the back, as you saw, but no luck. So I figured, okay, I'll just screw on these little screws on this, so if it detaches, it'll just start hanging, right? It's not gonna drop on my heater, because that's the only thing I'm worried about, right? Because if it just drops, it's fine. You'll just reattach it, sure. Also, because I couldn't remove this, it smelled like burnt plastic when I was working on it, and that is most likely the smell of that double-sided tape that is underneath. But it didn't drop even an inch, so that's weird, because usually it's just relatively strong, but it's a simple double-sided tape that holds these. But this one is held by something else, and that 215 temperature didn't even make a dent. Now this is ASRock. Okay, I gotta remember that. Alright, so now we just need to wait for it to dry out. I'll put it in the dryer, and we'll ship it back tomorrow. It should work. I would say it should work, but that's mainly because look how thick this board is. It's extremely thick. Usually the high-end boards come this thick, but the little ones as well, because you have to fit a lot more connections on a smaller surface, so it's gonna be a little thicker. Then we'll put on the heat sinks and stuff, and we're done. And I have to order some more 1200 sockets. Alrighty, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you found this useful, or at least a little entertaining, and I shall see you guys on the next one.